Hey, what's up there, Internet? Troy to the Max Extreme here.
And Ghost Hunter Dave here.
Oh, Dinosaur Neil back, baby. And we3 are IMPERIUS REX.
It's all been leading to this.
It was all natural.
Oh my god. All natural. No animals harmed in the process. So Troy, welcome back.
Thanks.
We, prior to this, we had a little recap, see how life's been going. Turns out, not too good.
Nah.
But we're past that.
We are.
We're moving on to bigger and better things. We're jumping back on the mOrRiSoN train that's going to lead us into a bigger, brighter 2021.
How apt.
I'm ready for it.
Me too.
This was like an injection. Yeah. This was an injection of endorphins right to my brain. This is what I needed. Get us out of those dark ages. Some light from mOrRiSoN and his right-hand man, Frank Quackley.
Gosh. My God. We're talking about We3.
All right.
3.
Oh, yeah. Does that work? Yeah, it does.
Wait, which way does an E go?
They've been called man's best friend, but is man deserving of that friendship? 3 stray pets, Bandit the dog, Tinker the cat, and Pirate the rabbit, have been transformed into cybernetic bio-assassins by a secret branch of the U.S. Air Force. With several successful missions under their belt, they are suddenly decommissioned and planned for termination. Project head Roseanne Barry refuses to let these animals die, however, and engineers their escape. Now on the run from the military, We3 must fight for their survival from an army of inhumane humans hell-bent on covering their tracks. Is man the real animal? Can 3 cybernetically enhanced killing machines truly find the comfort of home again? We3.
Nicely summed up there, Dave.
Thank you very much. I figured we should get into a summary early because a lot of times we spoil the whole book before we even tell what it's about.
Yeah.
2021, we're going to get this show on the track.
About time.
Yep.
Get a formula that works.
That's right. I can't wait to forget it on the next episode. You're like, you know what I didn't like about Fables? Issue 150. We'll get there.
This was one of the, when I started collecting comics religiously, this is one I always saw on the shelf, and I had no idea what it was. I just saw these 3 animals, and everybody says it's great because it's up there as like bestseller or great read. And
Or
I was
3 animals.
I'm like, I don't know what that is, so it's not Superman or whatever.
Right.
So, no thanks.
Yep, it was always in the Wizard hot list.
Yeah.
We3, always there.
That was the first thing I ever remember, and flipping through it now, it was like, oh my god, that's the thing. Where in Wizard magazine, it always say, our comic's good, and that dog like has his head cocked, like, that's this!
That's this!
Yeah.
So this was published in 2004 by Vertigo Comics. It's a tight read.
It's very brisk.
Yep.
I knew it was short, and even when I got to the end, I'm like, oh, I finished.
Yeah.
I'm done. I got through it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably the most straightforward thing mOrRiSoN has ever written.
I was almost waiting for more to happen, and that's why I think
mOrRiSoN.
that's when I'm very good, Dave.
Yeah,
And that's
you.
when I think when I got to the end, and it was just like, yeah, straightforward. I'm like, oh, I thought there was going to be more.
Yeah, for that other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was, you know it's 3 issues going into it, and by issue
It's
3...
right in the title.
Exactly.
I could have used more,
Same.
I think it's great at the pace and the size that it is. I never got bored, but this is one of those where I'm like, man, maybe one more issue. I could have soaked it up a bit more. I appreciate its brevity, but
I could have almost maybe even used 2 more issues because Quietly's art like really flies, and there's like it's
kinetic.
It's kinetic and it's simplistic in its layout. And you fly right through the page, so you breeze right through it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I almost could use more, not padding, but more emotional beats for the animals. Because with its brevity, I felt like I yeah, they're cute and like cuddly animals, but like I still didn't really get to know them before the time it was over.
As a person?
Yeah, no, but like I get it, like
Pirate as a person?
yeah. So I wish I could have almost seen more of their homeward bound journey that never happened. So I felt like there was more of an emotional payoff at the end, because at the end it came so quick. I'm like, oh, it's done. I wish there was more.
Yeah.
But you felt great at the end. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still felt wonderful at the end. You're like, oh my god, they've got a nice little home and everything. But what you're saying about the homeless guy.
I guess a boxcar is enough for anybody.
Oh, but what you're saying about Quietly's art, it's phenomenal. Obviously, like, he's one of the top-notch artists out there. But, like, some of these splash pages, like these 2-panel pages where it's, like, black background, and, it, like, there's one in particular where the cat character's jumping through, like, all of these panels that are segmented. And he's got that a couple of times.
He makes the panels 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
I feel like this was almost... This was probably like the Matrix for comics at this time,
my God,
where like they did this shtick that I don't think has ever been done before, and it was so like unique. I'm actually surprised more things didn't emulate this, because it is very like visually eye-catching.
It showed like a really awesome action beat, and it was such a cool element of it.
But sorry to interrupt, but to touch on that too, in future books that Quietly does, that's like a mainstay of like his style.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Flex does that. Even as some new X-Men stuff did that. And his Multiversity book that he did, Pax Americana, was full of that stuff. Like walking
and they're all
down
Morrison
staircase.
too.
Yeah.
You wonder like who's leading who here, or is it just a perfect partnership?
Oh, maybe.
Who knows?
The panel layout in this immediately, like the first probably like 6 or 7 pages have no dialogue, and it's all just like camera angles and positioning, and immediately upon opening this up it felt so good. I just felt like I was in the hands of a master. I'm like, this book knows what it's doing. It knows how to like tell a visual story, which I would say that is exactly what this does. It tells a very visual story. It's a comic book. That's what they're for.
There's a part around the middle of the series where it's nothing but security cam footage
for 6 pages.
A lot of pages, and it's incredible. Like just reading, like just going through no dialogue whatsoever, but you're picking up on all of the stuff that's going on.
Repeating camera angles, and then it has that explosive 2-page spread of them breaking out there. So it's all these tight little. You know, you're sitting there watching the Matrix screen, and then boom, when they get out, it's this this climax, this release there as they escape. So, talking about how stylistically impressive this is, would you say that WE3 is style over substance?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would too.
However, I was going to throw a wrench in everybody's gears and be like, was it really that great? I mean, it's flashy looking.
Yeah.
And it is a heartfelt story, but like, I think it looks better than what it actually reads.
I think it has the benefit of having animals that people instantly connect to and feel bad for, but he doesn't ever like push it down your throat either. No. It's not like, oh, look how bad these humans are. It's just like, yeah, you know, they're treating animals as test subjects. It sucks. We like animals. He doesn't really need to go any deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's very kind of surface level.
Yes. Yeah.
To make way for like how above and beyond the artwork goes.
If I had to nitpick one thing in the artwork, it's the design of the suits. Sometimes I'm like, how does this work? And sometimes it gets muddled when it's at a different angle.
What was up with that cat's tail?
I don't know.
It grossed me out. I didn't like the look of it. It reminded me of the Queen's egg sac in Aliens. Like, what is going to shoot out of that thing?
Yeah, there were specific elements where, like, the dog was, like, running, or supposed to be, and it just looked like a mesh of metal, and you're like, I'm not entirely sure that's how that would work out so well.
These crescents and spheres, I don't know how it works.
They were all very egg-shaped, and I kept thinking, like, it was going to pay off, where, like, maybe it's a defensive thing, where they can kind of, like, you know, like, seal themselves up. and that didn't ever happen. Like, I mean, maybe that's kind of what it was for, but they didn't need to go into it in the story. In the back matter, they say that they were originally going to be like humanoid bodysuits with just like the animal head popping out, which I think is hilarious.
That's pretty great.
But they decided to kind of like pare them down and make them more, you know, like four-legged and more like an animal. But yeah, it is a strange design where I feel like it's not negative space, but there's just a lot of like oval-shaped nothing.
Oval-shaped vent.
Yeah.
Paw, head,
a gun,
a few antennas.
Yeah.
But yeah, at certain angles, it does look just like an amorphous block of things until you like see it like at a front view. Like, oh, that's how all this works.
I'm still not entirely sure I understood the rabbit suit at all for the entire thing.
All I know is that his tail was messed up.
His tail was messed up. He kept saying it. I'm like, I don't see shit. Like,
I don't know what your tail looked like before this. Can someone fix Pirate's tail?
God damn.
But I did like wrapping it up to the end here where they had like, because they're all being decommissioned, and that's why they are accidentally let loose.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get the newer model, which is like this bull mastiff or whatever.
Yeah, Rottweiler.
Just to rip this shit apart. And then that's when really I was like, I really like this portion. But then it almost is over like in a couple pages.
Yeah, you think this boss fight's gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be a banger. No, it's not actually.
Nah, bro.
I think they made him put like one panel to it.
Everyone, all three of the people that follow us, were just like, this book's so depressing, it just gives me all the feels.
Yeah.
It didn't tear me up inside. Like, I appreciate it, I get the messaging and everything, and I love these animals. Love all animals.
Same.
But
Not these.
It didn't.
I'm right with you, Dave.
I didn't connect with any of them outside of the broken language that the dog spoke. That kind of pulled at your heartstrings. You know, it's how everybody talks to their dog.
Yeah.
Is dog good? You know?
Yeah.
He just wants to go home. you know?
Home, no run.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Bad dog. Like that. I mean, it's like you get a little twinge of like, oh, that poor guy.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything that had me like, I wasn't day tripper weeping over this.
No. I think it was juxtaposed by that asshole cat. That was always just like,
hissing.
just fuck the shit. I'm
hissing.
Yeah, stink boss. Yeah.
Fucking cat.
I know.
That cat was a menace.
Exactly.
It's like your basement cat.
It is exactly like my basement cat. Why don't we have our animals here?
God.
They're probably plotting something right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them since you came
They
here.
got suits on.
But the rabbit, poor pirate's like, my tail, and the cat's like, fuck your tail, you idiot. like
stink balls.
Yeah,
Stink box!
Yeah, and also the language too, it took me like an issue to get into as well.
Yeah.
Because they aren't talking throughout the whole thing, so when it comes up you're like, what? I'm trying to follow their few things that they say and the connotation that they do it.
It's a bit of like broken Morrison technobabble.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this book to someone just starting out on comics?
I think I would, because just to show them that there's something else besides Spider-Man.
Yeah.
out there, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's brisk, and you can see like the magnitude of great artwork that this medium can have.
And I think it's virtually kind of all ages appropriate. Obviously, there's language and there's gore, but like, I mean, as a kid, you'd kind of be like, "Ooh, what's this?" Like,
it's no Invincible. It's no
right.
brain shattering. Yeah, no.
It's brutal, but like the messaging and everything isn't anything that you wouldn't want your kids to read. It's pretty straightforward. Of like, you know, don't be a government stooge and don't torture animals.
Yeah.
For the visual storytelling alone, I'd say pick it up. And like, you're gonna like, I got through it in a sitting. So I mean, I think I think every comic book reader should read it, whether you're new or experienced.
Sample all the tastes and flavors out there.
That's right.
This is a good one. This is a good snack.
And it's best that you get into Quitely's art before you think it's weird looking, because I was initially off him for like a while because I thought his mouths looked weird.
Oh yeah.
They all look like him.
Yeah.
All his characters look like Frank.
God, his ass. Yeah.
It's not a god. It's just that's what he looks like.
But yeah, you go and like jump right into his new X-Men stuff when everybody is very stylized in his style. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was my first encounter with his art, and at first it was very off-putting, and I've come to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
The layouts
I think
and everything.
one of the best.
Did you say that he doesn't like do any reference or anything on his mock-ups?
He doesn't use any reference because he feels like it would take people out of his style. So it's all just him going right in.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
And some of these panels are just insane. This is a very 3D book. Like
Very much.
WE3D.
WE3D. Like right off the bat, when that like crazy dictator gets blown to bits, and all the bullets are like coming at you. How the cat jumps between panels. There's a great moment where like the dog charges through like a Humvee. He just blasts through it like a tank. And then it shows like a peppering of close-ups of all the carnage happening.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so many close-ups of that damn cat just shooting razor blades into people's eyes and shit. Like, my lord, that cat needs to be stopped.
Oh my god, yeah.
So I think this book, in my lifetime, is absolutely going to get adapted as a movie.
Oh, do you?
I think so.
Okay.
Don't you think so? Don't you feel like this story, this homeward bound of a story, is going to hit screens at some point? Like, how could you not?
I could definitely see it because there's a lot to draw from with not having. You could go anywhere with it because like they just plant the little seeds of ideas here and there. So like there's a lot of freedom to it.
I could see maybe doing like a Netflix, maybe like 2-season arc where it's like 6 episodes a season.
I think that's way too much.
No, hear me out, because like there's very little in the book to draw from, but use that as a template. You stretch it out just a little bit to know these characters a little bit more. 30-minute episodes. Get to really feel for them. So by the end of season 1, it's like the end of the book, and then season 2 picks off with a whole new story where you
like
have
the Chuck Forsman
there
the
we
fucking
go.
world model.
There you go.
Very similar. It's is very simple and straightforward, and it just kind of leaves a lot of room to bring in a couple more things.
Yeah.
You could expand on Roseanne a little bit more before she just gets turned into salsa.
Apparently James Gunn expressed interest in doing this at some point. I feel like he would be an okay candidate to direct it. You know who my go-to would be for this?
You say Zack Snyder, go fuck yourself.
It's not. It's not. It is Alex Garland.
Okay.
He did Ex Machina and Annihilation.
Yes.
I'm picturing that kind of very sparse, like kind of local aesthetic of Ex Machina. You know, where it's just like everything's very flat and it's just this small story with only a handful of people. I feel like he could tackle this really well.
I think so. He's got a lot of style. Oscar Isaacs could have a dance scene in it.
Oh my god, get Oscar is the voice of the pirate, the rabbit.
Yes!
Give them all celebrity voices. Get Sally Field back in here as the cat.
I'm into that idea. That sounds good. But yeah, I probably mix of CG live action. They've got that pretty much nailed now.
Yeah. And I guess the majority of it is robotic suits. You just gotta get those heads and tails.
Just get Boston Dynamics to make up some scary, horrible monster beast. Just put it in the movie.
So final thoughts. Is there anything else like this? Any other books that come to mind?
Off the top of the dome, I can't think of one that I feel like it's similar to enough. But I would recommend people read it. I just feel like it was a tad lacking for me personally.
And you've read it before, right?
No.
This is your first time reading it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I read it once years back before I had pets of my own. And I thought I was like, it's alright. You know? I was on a Morrison kick then. I was like, that was a quick one. Then I moved on to something meatier. And I liked it more this time, I think, because I knew that it was as brief as it was. But I wasn't like head over heels with it. I just really appreciate it for like the visual dynamic of it.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah, the fact that it didn't sap like a week's worth of time out of you just to get what you got out of it is brilliant.
In terms of other books similar to this, the only thing I can think of is a Brian K. Vaughan book called Pride of Baghdad. Have you ever heard of that?
That's always been on my read list.
Yeah, I like this more, and this is more fantasy, obviously, but that one was kind of the real life instance in Iraq, I think, where there were some bombs that went off and a bunch of animals, a bunch of lions escaped from the zoo. But it just tells their story through the animals' perspective. So it's a little bit like this, like they're on the run, they're trying to get back to the wild or whatever. So it's similar, but I would say it's probably more heartfelt than this. But I kind of like this high stylized version of WE3 more. But, you know, they're both good. Check them both out. If animals are your thing.
Yeah. It's like Homeward Bound with murder.
What? So that's WE3. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. But until next time, I have been Troy to the Max Extreme.
And Ghost Hunter Dave.
Dinosaur Neil.
We'd like to thank all our patrons out there, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.